Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Luke Radowski of We Are Change.org, and I'm feeling a lot better. Feeling amazing, mainly because I got a lot of nature yesterday, a lot of grounding, a lot of cold immersion therapy, and I feel incredible. And if I could exude one thing to you, is to strongly do that if you can. But if you can't and you're stuck here with me, well, guess what? In this video, we are going to be learning about PSYOP disinformation campaigns in order to discredit legitimate criticism of authority. Yeah, that's a real fun topic with, of course, 3 latest stories that were in the headlines that were completely false and implanted there for the purpose of blowback, which of course we're going to be describing in a little bit. But before we do that and a lot more, just wanted to thank everyone that's purchasing our new t-shirts. We just got this one that says, "Don't track me, bro." It's one of my favorites. This shirt is doing pretty well as well. We got a Freddy Krueger version coming very soon as well. This shirt is also selling a lot, obviously, because, as you're going to see this video, you don't know who to believe anymore. And, of course, I can't emphasize, first, make sure you have a good food and water supply. And once you have that figured out and you have some money to splurge, then definitely check out our store on teesprings.com/stores/wearechange. The link will be in the description below. And of course, this helps us out tremendously since we've been fully demonetized. Now, holy cow, the digital space is pretty much the Wild West with, of course, a Terminator technocratic style army coming in with Amazon robots ready to eviscerate and destroy any form of liberty and freedom. That's the best way that I could describe what's happening online right now. As of course people are infighting, freaking out, and essentially are being led astray. And some would theorize that this is actually being done on purpose, which could potentially be true, especially looking at 3 of the latest stories that I want to bring up in this video as clear examples of disinformation used for the purpose of blowback, a big psychological operation in order to disrupt, discredit, and delegitimize any legitimate criticism. Now, one of the recent examples is this article that since has been deleted, and now this website has offered a retraction because they ran a story accusing Steve Burke, the president of the Comcast Corporation, and also the chairman of NBC Universal, of being in a video with one of Jeffrey Epstein's underage slaves. Yeah, if true, a massive bombshell of a story that would, of course, have huge ramifications. And, of course, this story was shared far and wide by many people who believed it to be true. There was even a petition on change.org that has already garnered 7,334 signatures. These were allegedly images provided by John Mark Duggan, ex-American police officer who is hiding out in Russia, that is claiming to have possessions of Prince Andrew and other videos of Jeffrey Epstein and his victims and the famous people he hung out around with. And now this organization that ran with the story had to issue a very big apology, since of course the images that were leaked, according to this news organization, was traced back to an adult website that has been up for a very long time, and of course not original CCTV footage allegedly taken from Epstein's home. And again, this was leaked by this Duggan guy, promoted by other individuals like Kirby Summers, claims to represent the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein, even though that has not been verified. And now the editor-in-chief of this publication will be resigning, and in this legally crafted apology specifically said that his organization did not have any malicious intent, that they believed John Mark Duggan, and that they let down their readers, and most importantly, the real victims of abuse here. And now, especially after a potential lawsuit that will happen here, news organizations and other individuals will think twice and now have more reason to be doubtful of victims, doubtful of any evidence. Any legitimate criticism of this NBC executive will now be lumped in with this and discredited. And now the real conversation that should have been had about Steve Burke's connection to, of course, Harvey Weinstein, alleged foreknowledge of Matt Lauer, and many of those other legitimate conversations, the likelihood of them happening are becoming less likely, which you, as a smart individual independent thinker, should ask yourself, who does this egregious fake news really benefit here? Who really has reason to lie here, especially since we know intelligence organizations routinely run psychological operations, psyops, run disinformation campaigns where they put out false information which is intended to mislead, quote, especially propaganda issued by a government organization to a rival power or the media. You know, the same intelligence organizations that have deep connections to, of course, Jeffrey Epstein, who, by the way, had massive surveillance systems built in all of his houses and private islands in order to spy and watch on very powerful politicians and prominent individuals in our society, as, of course, they do unspeakable things with underage children. Yes, this man ran a huge surveillance operation that there is plenty evidence of many of the individuals that he hung out with. It is credible to believe that the government agents that, of course, entered many of his properties are in possession of this, and that there definitely should be some bigger ramifications of this, but there's not. The closest thing we have is some media publication running old adult site videos. I mean, you really have to start scratching your head here and asking yourself what is really going on. And as we learned from The Intercept, and specifically Edward Snowden, he warned us how Western intelligence agencies are attempting to manipulate and control online discourse with extreme tactics of deception and reputation destruction. There's even a manual outlined surrounding this, and even Obama's information czar, Cass Sunstein, that wrote entire long theories about going after, quote, conspiracy theories by going after legitimate information, infiltrating it, creating infighting, while at the same time releasing outrageous theories and known lies as truth in order to muddy the waters and make everyone who was legitimately questioning the events of 9/11, including family members, survivors, and rescue workers, to lump them in with the crazies, as of course their reputation would be destroyed by, one, being associated with the crazies and their theories, and two, by releasing fake information that some people would promote, which would make everyone look bad. And of course that's what I called him out on. He didn't answer. He tried to run away. It's a video you got to watch. It will be in the description below. But this is not an isolated case just with the Jeffrey Epstein situation. This is happening more and more. Even about a week ago, almost 7 days ago, I was sent this letter allegedly from the California Department of Social Services that was allegedly warning its citizens that if you want to be on government-assisted programs, you have to submit to mandatory COVID-19 testing. And surprisingly, many people sent me that story. I didn't report on it because there was no actual source to report on. It was just a letter that came from unknown origins. I looked into the story a little bit. I couldn't find any legitimate information backing that it was true, just a lot of people sharing it. And after doing some deep diving against this major allegation, it wasn't true at all. It was a fake, made-up letter so people would share it as truth in order to discredit anyone pushing back against the government's egregious measures that they have implemented recently. And it worked. And even just a few days ago, I saw a YouTuber that I used to know talking about how horrible it was if government was going to take away their Medicare and their food stamps if they don't get the mandatory test, even though that person claimed to be an anarchist. How horrible that this is. And again, clearly promoting fake news that discredits everything else that the other person said that could have been true, and to the average person that is watching on the sidelines, discredits any legitimate form of criticism of government, and next time makes them second guess if what they are seeing is actually true. Another similar disinformation hoax was also recently ran in Washington state, and after calling out this one, we saw a very similar one that I saw again, and of course didn't take the bait on, unlike many other individuals, who of course were again claiming that Washington state is removing children from homes that allegedly have COVID-19. And again, all of this was misinformation and came from originally social services looking for volunteers to help out and supervise foster children. But people just aimlessly spread this around without even thinking about it or fact-checking it, giving ammunition to all the negative Nancys and Karens out there to say, look, information's bad. We need a central overlord telling us what we can and cannot listen to. Again, and the disinformation keeps spreading, especially around topic of a new cell phone technology that we can't even talk about because of this disinformation campaign being as successful as it has been. But there's one video again that I've been sent too many times claiming that a telecommunications engineer broke down a circuit board for this new cell phone technology, and inside of it he found the words COVID-19, showing allegedly what went inside of these new cell phone towers, when in reality, he screwed open an old TV box set, scribbled the words COVID-19 on it, and then made this video that went absolutely viral. Are there some serious questions and legitimate health concerns that people have? Should there be more medical studies when it comes to this advancing cell phone technology? Yes. But could we even have that conversation now? No, because of so much disinformation and propaganda around there. Are governments completely overstepping, gobbling up too much power, and eviscerating our freedoms? Yes. Some governments are doing that. Can we legitimately take care of that problem? Well, no, not if there is so much information out there. False information, again, which is, quote, intended to mislead, especially, quote, propaganda issued by a government organization to a rival power or the media. Again, ask yourself, who benefits from this outrageous, bogus, fake news, disinformation campaign, misleading people of the actual controllers, creating blowback, the intended adverse result, which many people are unintentionally pushing and creating. This is a strategy here that we're seeing implemented that the U.S. government and military have been doing and implementing for a very long time. It is even officially declassified with the COINTELPROB documents that documented all of this, and it would only be naive to think that this program ended in, quote, 1971, since, of course, it benefited them so greatly. And now, in this digital day and age of information, it's pretty clear that it's more rampant than ever. And it's done in many underhanded ways, not only with just some of the sock puppets and comments that you see all over the place, but also in an attempt to divide and conquer you, while, of course, using it as a justification in order to gobble up more power. Since, of course, you know, there's so much fake news out there that we have to only believe the professional liars, since us poor peasant liars aren't as proficient as they are. And this is why we're seeing a campaign now, which is absolutely egregious, by YouTube, by the World Health Organization, by Facebook, by Twitter, going after and attacking any legitimate form of criticism, any legitimate conversations that don't serve the special interests. It is all being eliminated right in front of our eyes by these professional liars that are connected to the government that has been running COINTELPROB style psychological warfare disinformation campaigns for decades now. And this is who we're supposed to trust? The authorities on all of this? No, I don't agree with that. And if you don't agree with that either, share this video with your friends and family members. It's more important than ever, especially with the just extreme measures that YouTube has taken in order to attack this channel. It's happening in more ways than one. It's been happening for a while, and the best way to stop it is, of course, by individually taking action and getting this video out there in front of many people as possible. If there ever was a time to be on your toes, to be aware of your surroundings, to know exactly what is really going on, it is now. It is more important than ever that you participate and take action, spreading truth while, of course, fighting real fake news out there. It is more important than ever to be vigilant, awake, and aware of the larger psychological operation against you. We have a very clear position to where we stand regarding the situation that we are all in. We all don't have to see things exactly the same, and instead of arguing minutia, we should be working on healing all of these things together. That's my take. That's my opinion of it. What do you think? I appreciate your comments and feedback very much. Thank you again so much for watching True and Real Independent Media. Without you, I wouldn't be here. This is why. Love you guys. Stay tuned for more.